So welcome back to Decoy Noise and another episode of Versus, because we're going in on another Am I the Antagonist thread. So am I the antagonist for commenting on my cousin's social media that she's not as affluent as she's purporting to be because she can't even pay back the loan she owes me? So in blasting people on social media, I'm just asking you to subscribe if you haven't already. I believe I'm at 667 subscribers as I'm recording this video, so I mean I'm still growing, but if you haven't already, please drop the number subscriber you are, because it helps me track the channel growth, and also comments, because I'm adding a new section in the channel called the Decoy Coy Voice, which is me reading the replies of the Decoy Coy, what I'm calling the subscribers in the voice, and trying to say this word without stumbling. But I mean, let's just get to the video, because everybody loves calling people out on social media. So 2 years ago, my cousin's dog was diagnosed with a life-threatening medical condition. The veterinarian bill, oh god, eclipsed $10,000 Australian. My cousin didn't have the necessary funds, and for whatever reason ended up being in my house begging and pleading for a loan. Okay. I should mention here that I'm not rich by any means. Rather, it's the fact that I'm the only person in our family that, one, has a steady job, and two, has no major expenses. My partner and I have lived frugally for a long time to save up an emergency fund. The loan came out of those funds. Okay. The loan agreement is simple: $10,000 over a maximum duration of 5 years, paid monthly, and accruing an interest rate pegged to my mortgage to offset account's interest rate. Okay, there is no formal contract per se, though the one most likely exists at common law, but there is an understanding that she will pay back the loan as soon as possible. Unfortunately, collecting money from my cousin has been like a drawing blood from a stone. My cousin is a low-income earner, which would be fine, especially because she lives at home and has no major expenses, but she also spends way beyond her means: luxury designer items, exorbitant holidays abroad, etc. Things she has no business purchasing on her income. To put it into perspective, my cousin has had more late payments than one's paid on time. To date, she's currently 3 months arrears, so I'm guessing behind $500? I don't know. $500. It isn't much, I know, but it's the mere fact that I have to continually chase her up that annoys the hell out of me. So when I saw her bragging about a new Burberry coat on her social media, I couldn't help but leave a comment to the effect of, "You can't afford a Burberry coat. You can't even afford to pay me back for your dog's surgery." Okay. By the time my cousin noticed my comment, enough people were talking about it. My cousin called me up, infuriated that I would out her dirty laundry, but honestly, I'm at my wits' ends. I just want her to stick to the agreement. Am I the antagonist? So before we get to the edit, I'm just going to take her to decoy court, which is not biting at all. This is just my knee-jerk reactions as always. But I mean, yeah, decoy court, she's not the antagonist. If you can't get your money back by regular means, you don't have a contract, you don't have an agreement, you just say like a gentleman's agreement, pay me this amount or whatever, and she's behind on payments, she's $500 behind on payments, by all means, blast her on social media. That's the only way you're going to get through to her, because apparently that's all she cares about. So I guess I'm being the antagonist here, but I mean, pause the video, drop your comment down below letting me know if you think she's the antagonist. If she's not the antagonist, everyone sucks here, whatever it may be, drop it down below and I will try to add you in the section of reading replies of the Decoy Coy Voice. Good God, it's hard to read that, but let's get back to the edit. So she says, "Did the dog recover?" Yes, the dog made a full recovery. The only silver lining is in this whole debacle. Why did I loan my cousin such a large amount without putting the loan in writing? There's a few questions to this common question. Firstly, the loan is in writing, text messages, etc., just not formalized in a contract. Secondly, my cousin's parents guaranteed the loan. They're honest people who I know will honor the guarantee, but they're also not particularly well off, so I don't want to cause them any hardship unless it's my last resort. Thirdly, typically I wouldn't loan family or anyone money, but I have a weak spot for dogs. Yeah, I could see somebody in that situation where it's like, I know I'm not getting that money. Like the old adage, if you ever loan money to a friend or a family member, just consider that money lost, because you're not going to be able to get it back without, I guess, blasting them on social media. But just the idea that it's like, especially if you know the dog and she's kind of putting the dog's life in your hands, like, oh my God, I can't pay for the surgery. If you don't give me the money, this dog dies, and I put that on you. And then that's always going to strain their relationship, especially if she had the money, which apparently she did. So I mean, yeah, I could see why they would give up that much money for a dog. They're part of the family, which is would be tough. So okay, so let's get back to the story. Let's read on. So why did you charge interest? If I didn't loan my cousin any money, the money would have stayed in my offset account and reduced the interest I pay in my mortgage. The interest is then to make sure I'm not losing any money by giving out this loan to my cousin. I'm not looking to profit from family. In fact, I'm still losing money to the compounding nature of the mortgage. That's splitting hairs at this point. But that's splitting hairs at this point. Okay, so she's not trying to charge interest to make money. She's trying to charge interest because she's not trying not to lose money, which is, sounds like she's losing money anyway. But I mean, let's move on. And also the last comment was, are you an idiot? Yes, an idiot for trying to do the right thing, but an idiot nonetheless. But I wouldn't say an idiot, just someone with a soft spot for dogs. Like, the dog was probably going to pass away if they didn't have the funds. So, I mean, save the dog's life. And, I mean, you kind of learn a lesson about loaning money to family. But I imagine if she was put in the same situation again to save the dog again, or save anybody, or save anybody's animal in the family, she probably would do it in a heartbeat. So let's look at the top comments right now before we get to some controversial to see if there's any drama here. So the top reply is, not the antagonist. I applaud you for what you did. Your husband's a huge and very brazen antagonist. You may have given her the best lesson of her life, because if she continues like this, she will have some very serious financial problems if she doesn't already have them. You have already come to her aid, and now she, a person on low income, is buying Burberry coats while she neglects her loan. WTF. Clearly, you have failed to convey the same message in the past in private, so you gave her a very efficient shock factor. Good for you. Don't back up. This is, I mean, maybe I'm an antagonist too, but or too harsh or whatever. But I feel like this is the wake up call. This is the only, like, social media browbeating is the only way that it's going to get her to change her behavior. So I mean, maybe this was the wake up call she needed. Let's read on. Thank you. The cousin sounds extremely naive about how she chooses to spend her limited money, and to be honest, OP is probably doing them a favor at this point by calling them out on their poor choices. Yeah, where they can kind of figure out, like, hey, I'm living beyond my means. Let me learn my lesson right now whilst I have a safety net that is the original poster giving me the money for the dog, and instead of like, oh yeah, now no one can lend me money, and actually it's not like the dog that needs an expensive surgery, it's like her that needs an expensive surgery, and she has all these Burberry bags and no cash on hand to save herself. But next post, not the antagonist, but loaning $10,000 for a dog seems like a horrible idea. Full disclosure, I never owned a dog, but it seems like a crazy amount of money. And one thing I could say from personal experience is just the idea that it's like, you always hear about people spending like $5,000 on, I had a friend that their dog was just like, it was one of those small fluffy dogs, and their dog was just eating her fur on the ground or whatever, and they found out that, oh, there was a blockage and the dog was going to die. So instead of having their wedding, they spent that money on the dog's surgery. And I was like, no, that's dumb or whatever. But it's like, well, once upon a time, my cat needed a very expensive surgery. And it's like, I can't find Cheddar right now. So yeah, I gave him that expensive surgery, and he doesn't even want to hang out with the podcast. But just the idea that when they're part of the family, they're part of the family. Like, you can't just sit there and let them go. And as corny as it may be, I just say that I read on Reddit one time where they said that before they put their animal to sleep, they're looking in their eyes and they can see they're light years away. And for whatever reason, when I was looking at my cat and I was like, oh, we're gonna put him to sleep, or we're gonna try to save him with this expensive surgery, you literally see like they're there, but they're not. They're light years away in the universe or something. And as kind of sappy as that sounds, it's very, very real when you actually find yourself in that situation. But I mean, let's get back to the post, because let's stop being sappy right now. So original poster came back and said, to be honest, the only reason I loaned the money at all is because I wanted to save a dog's life. I have a weak spot for dogs. Shrugs. And that's what they say. Dogs are the only animal that love you more than they love themselves. So if you put that in the opposite way, like a la Family Guy, where you needed some sort of surgery, I'm sure the dog wouldn't hesitate to like give their own kidney for you or whatever. So I mean, it's sad to say, but yeah, we do a lot for dogs. And the next reply for that was, I don't blame you, but if you ever watched JJ, you know that you are forevermore the bad guy, even though you were trying to help her out. Not the antagonist, of course. In the future, have a predetermined amount that you're willing to lend and not get back, like $20 or $200 or whatever. And I think that everybody kind of like is on her side on the idea that she knows her limits on what she's willing to give up in terms of like lending family, but it was for the dog. It was actually wasn't a loan for the person. It was a loan for the dog's life. They just expected to be reimbursed or whatever. But I would be very curious to know if the dog ends up passing away for something else, if the lendee or the person that received the loan ends up just kind of defaulting on it, like, well, the dog's gone anyway, so you know, I'm just gonna keep buying Burberry bags or whatever. But let's do one more top reply. Not the antagonist. I guess you learned to never lend money to people again, though. Never lend what you wouldn't gift. And that's one thing. It would be just if she put it in a contract and was able to, like, I don't know how it is in Australia, but what do you call it, garnish her wages, where if she doesn't pay the money, she can get the money like through her paycheck directly or whatever. But I mean, it's family, and like I said before, and like everybody says, never lend family money that you're not willing to just surrender. It's gone now, whatever. But let's look at some controversial replies to see if people are just gonna blast her. So let's see. Oh yes, negative 17 points, which is very promising in the world of Am I the Antagonist? So this person says, everyone sucks here. Public shaming makes you an antagonist. There were countless other ways you could have addressed this, including talking to her about making a budget and living within her means in person. No reason to go into why she's an antagonist. And the thing is, though, is maybe she tried to do it before, maybe she hasn't, but you know, I think it was one of those things where she's just trying to she was trying to speak her language. Like, how am I going to get through to her? I know, I'm going to publicly shame her, which is may or may not be the right thing, but it's the thing that got through to her. And someone got even worse negative points just for agreeing. How does this guy get negative 17 points, and this guy for agreeing gets negative 27 points in the court? Oh, not that one. In the court of decoy court. Everybody's guilty here. I'm sentencing the voters guilty, because why are they so off with this? But let's move on. So the next controversial reply is, I think the unpopular opinion here is, but you're the antagonist. Airing family grievances on social media is always a tacky move. Yes, it was time to escalate your handling of the situation, but it wasn't the right way. And here's the thing is, this is the common theme I'm feeling with all the antagonist threads that we're covering right now. It's like, hey, you're gonna do me a favor, but you need to be the only adult in the room. Let everybody else screw you over and kind of, like, you know, make you lose money on your interest rate with your mortgage, and make you just an absence of $10,000, and make you have the trouble of going through trying to collect it where you're the bad guy. But you know what? You're doing all these good things, but still, you're the antagonist. You need to go out of your way even more to help them out. You need to help them screw you over even more. So, I mean, I see why they got negative 5 points. I see where they're coming from, where they say airing out dirty laundry on social media is bad. And I think that's bad in the sense of, like, relationship drama and, I don't know. That's the only one I can think of at the top of my head right now. But just the idea that it typically is a bad move, but when you're trying to, like, twist somebody's arm, it might be the right move, because it seems like this is the only thing that's getting through to her. But I mean, I've talked enough about that topic right now. Make sure you drop comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what subscriber number you are. Subscribe over down there. Watch the other video over there, but also drop comments as to what you think this situation was. Is she the antagonist? Is she not the antagonist? Are you gonna blast someone on social media to get your money back? Are you like Stewie? Or are you like, what is it? Yeah, Stewie Griffin. Are you like Stewie Griffin and getting your money back? Or are you like OP over here? Let me know down below.